There have been a lot of funny or strange lawsuits we've seen over the years, and this is no exception. The musician Afroman, who you may know from his song Because I Got High, is being sued by the police for a music video he made. Let's jump right into it! Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Tom Dark channel. I'm your host, Tom Dark, happy to be with you today, and this is Afroman. He had a pretty big album in 2001 called The Good Times, where he had a few hits, and since then he's still been doing music for his fans and trying to keep making art and content, and he's got a pretty decent thing going for him, you know, he's still got a following. He's a music artist making his way in the world. What more can you ask for? Well, last August, his house was raided by the police, which he definitely did not ask for. He lives in Ohio, and they were acting on a search warrant, which claimed that some very illegal things were going on at his residence. The warrant claims the search was needed because of probable cause that drugs and drug paraphernalia were located on the property and that trafficking and kidnapping had taken place there. Boom, there goes my door, he said. Here they come into my house with assault rifles moving around. You know, from time to time I smoke blunts. I got too few roaches, the ends of blunts, hanging around, laying around, probably in an ashtray or something, he said. I would have given that to them if they would have knocked. They have my number. They could have called me and said, give me your roaches. Foreman says, counter to social media suspicions that ran rampant following the search, he doesn't have a significant amount of marijuana in the house. That is an assumption. That is speculation. I can understand that. However, I don't, and that's the facts, he said. You shouldn't kick people's doors down over speculation. You shouldn't kick people's doors down traumatizing kids over an assumption. Foreman says, beyond the physical damage, he's most upset that the search happened just feet away from his young school-aged children who watched it unfold. They come up here with AR-15s, traumatize my kids, destroy my property, kick in my door, rip up and destroy my camera system, he said. Responding to Foreman's claim that the search left his surveillance system destroyed, the sheriff's office said they have considered removing the system but decided not to. Afterward, Foreman says investigators confiscated a vape pen, a joint, and $4,000 in cash that investigators believe to be the proceeds of drug trafficking. He claims he made the money by rapping. I rap for a living, he said. Sometimes people pay me with PayPal and Cash App. Sometimes they give me cash. And so this guy was apparently innocent, and nothing that the police thought was going on was actually happening. There was no kidnapping, there was no illegal paraphernalia. He was an innocent man. And he wasn't even home at the time this happened, but they managed to scare the shit out of his kids that were living there. And they broke down his door. I mean, they just wrecked his house, basically. And on top of that, he claims that they took a bunch of his money when they returned. Basically, they confiscated whatever cash he had, and when they returned it, $400 was supposedly missing. I don't know if that was lost in the evidence room or one of the cops misplaced it or it was outright stolen, but whatever the case, this guy is short $400 as a result of a police raid which produced no charges. So he deserves to have that money back, which is a significant amount of cash. You know, if someone owed me $400, I'd be having constant chest pains over it. And in this case, it's the police. It's not exactly something that's easy to get back. And what even is the standard operating procedure for this, right? You just like go to the station and you're like, hey guys, you owe me $400 that you took from my house. How can he seek some kind of justice for what I did to him? His broken door, his destroyed property, his traumatized kids. What can you really do about that, you know? Well, as it turns out, Afroman had a security system in his home that was recording everything going on. So when the police busted down his door, he had cameras pointed at them, and the entire interaction was caught on tape of them busting in with guns and searching his stuff. Well, he ended up releasing an album recently, and on that album was a song titled Will You Help Me Repair My Door? And it's basically just about the raid. And as a music video for the song, he used footage from the raid showing their faces. And when people heard about this, despite the fact that he's not the most popping artist in the world right now, they recognized some of his other songs and they were like, hey, this is pretty funny, you know, this is some cool shit. He managed to get back at them. Obviously today there's a strong anti-law enforcement sentiment in this country, and most people seem to have a problem with cops in some way, so this sort of stoked the flames for that camp. And they also saw it as retribution, you know, someone getting back at what they see as like a broken institution who wronged him, right? If they don't find anything, they absolutely should be paying for damages. It doesn't work that way. Even worse, if they accidentally break into the wrong house or apartment and destroy the place, they still don't have to pay unless they can prove they knew they were at the wrong place. This is terrific. I was rolling. On a more serious note, I'm glad he and his family made it out relatively unscathed. By the look of frustrated disappointment painted across all of those officers' faces, this could have easily had a more tragic ending. Well, this seemed like a decent way to get back at the police who clearly wronged him, right? But now the police are retaliating by filing a lawsuit against Afroman, claiming that he's misusing the footage. They're demanding all of the profits from the song. They're claiming it caused them emotional distress, and they're saying that they deserve some compensation for his use of that footage. They're saying he misused it, which in my opinion is absolutely ridiculous. Months after the raid, Foreman published two songs referencing the raid, Lemon Pound Cake and Will You Help Me Repair My Door? He also published accompanying music videos that include footage of the raid from his home surveillance cameras, as well as his wife's cell phone. The footage shows the faces of the 7 plaintiffs according to the lawsuit. The complaint says Foreman also created dozens of videos and images of plaintiffs' personas and posted them on various social media platforms including Facebook, YouTube, Snapchat, TikTok, and Instagram. The complaint specifically cites 7 Instagram Instagram posts, all of which have since been deleted. In one post, according to the complaint, Foreman allegedly congratulated a law enforcement officer involved in the raid. "Thank you for getting me 5.4 million hits on TikTok. I couldn't have done it without you, obviously. Congratulations again, you're famous for all the wrong reasons." The plaintiffs say they've been subjected to ridicule by people who saw Foreman's posts, and that the posts have made it more dangerous for them to carry out their duties. They also claim they've endured death threats by anonymous members of the public who have seen some defendants' above described postings. The complaint claims Foreman continuously used the plaintiffs' personas without their prior consent in a manner that is willful, wanton, malicious, and shows conscious or reckless disregard for their rights. Now, when you go into this situation, you have to look at both sides of this and acknowledge which side you're going to take. On one hand, the police think they're doing the right thing, unless you're ACAB and think that all cops are evil or bad people, which I disagree. But the police think that there's some criminal activity going on at his house, so they raid his home thinking that something terrible could be going on there. Kidnapping, drugs, I think that some kind of criminal enterprise is going on at his house for whatever reason, right? I don't know why they thought that, but that's the claim. So from their perspective, some dangerous situation could be happening and they're doing the right thing by doing their public duty, right? It's their job. But then you have to look at Afroman and how he obviously feels. He's an innocent man. I mean, no charges are being pressed in this case against him at all. And yet his house gets raided, his door gets broken down, his shit gets looked through, they rummage through his fucking stuff, they take a bunch of his cash, and then supposedly $400 is stolen from him with no good explanation. And on top of that, he claims they emotionally traumatized his family who lives there by raiding them with guns and scaring the fuck out of them, you know? So he has every right to be mad, and the only way he felt he could take some justice on them was by making this music video. Now, as of the time that people caught wind of this story, the music video only had 300,000 views. That's prior to the lawsuit, so I kind of doubt that at that point the officers would be getting much flack for it as individuals, you know? Some people will leave me in comments and mock them, but I would be 100% totally surprised if someone like recognized these dudes in public and actually took something out on them, you know? Or even confronted them. I highly doubt that would happen. And in the music video, you cannot see the guys' names or anything, so it's not like he's doxing them, right? But as far as I can tell, because they ended up, you know, suing him, taking him to court, the news of this, like getting in articles and getting on Twitter, you know, YouTube videos, TV, it basically had the Streisand effect where it's only gotten more popular despite the fact that the police initially tried to silence it and take it down, right? I mean, as of 5 days after its release, it had 300,000 views, and now the story is blown up everywhere, everyone's talking about it, and now it has 4.5 million views. And the comments are literally all supportive of Afroman, and they're talking about the lawsuit. So clearly they came there from that. This definitely increased his profile in a way that has made him more famous than he's been in quite a long time. And he knows this, and as a result is capitalizing on it by announcing his run for president. "These guys are once again making me a bigger star," he says of the police. "I don't want to pay these guys nothing, but worst case scenario, if I had to pay them off the publicity and fame they gave me, it might just be fair to shuffle them a few coins."
Yes, what's going on? It's the Hungry Hustling American Dream Afroman. I'm running for president 2020 I'm gonna get recreational cannabis legal in all states. I need your vote. Bukak.
And there are also a ton of videos of him blowing up on TikTok. So I imagine despite what happened, he's happy with the result because he's able to turn it into a positive experience for him and his fans. He got to make a funny song about it, he went viral on TikTok, he had a popular music video. It's a win-win. And if you look at the lyrics, they're actually pretty funny.
"Why are you stealing my money? You represent the law and it's funny. You're stealing my legal, worked hard everyday, paid taxes money. The sheriff disconnected my cameras."
And past this, Afroman has also been gloating about it and the popularity it's gotten him because obviously why wouldn't he, right? He says he didn't set out to make a hateful album, he just wanted to get a laugh about it. That's brought him a sense of victory, he adds. "Me laughing at them, making songs about them is more powerful than their authority," he says. "It's more powerful than their assault rifles. It's more powerful than what they got because I got these big bad tough guys crying and whining about my songs on my page in my world." And to be honest, when it comes down to it, you know, I do like the police. I'm not ACAB or anything, and you know, I really don't fall in the camp that hates all police. Even as an institution, I think the police is a good thing to have. But at the same time, I'm gonna have to take Afroman's side here and say that I think he's in the right, and I probably would do the exact same thing if the cops fucked with me in this way. The cops are not just private citizens. They're agents of the law. They're agents of the state, of the government, who carry that out in public. I mean, by definition, they're public servants. And so in that way, if you enter someone's home or you're in public or something and you get filmed, then that person has a right to do what they want with that footage that they film on their private property. I think that's part of the job, you know? I don't know if legally speaking I'm in the right here, but in my eyes, that's just how I feel about it, and I think that it's justified for him to film them if they're coming into his private property, especially when he's innocent, and I think he can do what he wants with that footage, and they shouldn't have any say over it, you know? I think they should lose. But that's just what I think about this situation with Afroman. If you guys agree, feel free to leave a like. If you disliked it, then leave a dislike and let me know why you don't like me. Everyone, be sure to drop a comment down below giving me your thoughts. And check out my other content at turkeytom.net. Check out my friend on Twitter at AnonBird with 2 Ds. Check out my Instagram at TomButDark, and I will catch you all in the next video real soon. Bye.